Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm going to be doing a review and demo of the new Coastal Scents 16-piece pearl brush set that I ordered in my Cyber Monday haul when Coastal Scents had 50% off site-wide. I already did the unboxing to that video, but I said I was going to do a whole separate video of these entirely, so here I am. So when all the brushes are in here, this is what it looks like. As you can see, it does snap right here. And so here are all 16 brushes. Some of them are dirty because I've used them. So if you watched my unboxing of my Coastal Scents order, you will know that these had a strong plastic, really bad kind of smell to them. But after I've washed and used them a couple times, that smell has subsided quite a bit. Like, I still smell like a hint of it, but as I'm applying my makeup, I don't smell it as strong as I did before. So I'm pretty sure over time, with more brush washings and more brush using, the scent will probably just go away altogether. So in the demo that I did, creating the look I did today, I used all of these brushes minus these three. And the three I didn't use are the fine liner brush. But if you do eyeliner, like gel eyeliner, you could easily use this brush. The other brush I didn't use was the small and large angled brushes. This one, the larger one, could easily be used if you use eyebrow powder, and the smaller one could easily be used if you do like a powder or any other type of eyeliner. But I did not use those three brushes in the look today, but I still created a whole face using this. The other brushes I used were two e.l.f. ones, but other than these two, and not using these three, I created this whole look today using all of these. Overall, this is a really great brush set, especially if you are a beginner and don't have many brushes. This would be a great place to start. Or if you're like me and you already own quite a bit of brushes, this is also a great kit to have, because, you know, the more brushes the merrier. But these are really soft. I mentioned that in my unboxing, that these are incredibly soft to be synthetic. The only other complaint I have is that I wish they would have included the name of the brush on here, because on the box is where they have the whole list of all of their brushes and the names to them. So I just wish they would have, you know, taken the extra step and actually put it on the brush. The only thing the brush does say is Coastal Scents, but, you know, as you can see on the other side, there's no way of knowing what this is. So for a demo of the brushes I used in the look today, please keep on watching. So the first thing I'm going to do is just prime my face. I am using e.l.f.'s Poreless Face Primer for this. So next I'm going to be using e.l.f.'s Hydrating Under Eye Primer. So the first brush I'm going to use in this set is the Flat Buffer. This is a really great brush because it's dense, the bristles are densely packed in it, and it doesn't leave any streaks when you put on foundation. So I'm going to come back and do under eye concealing after I'm done with my eyeshadow, because there's probably going to be a bit of a fallout, so I'm just going to wait. So the next brush I'm using from the set is the large fluff brush, and with this I'm going to just be putting a skin tone color all over my eyelids. I like doing this after I put on my primer, because it just sets my primer and it makes all the other eyeshadows I'm going to put on later blend much better. So this one's kind of having like a weird like hair sticking up. I don't know if you'll be able to see that on camera, but it's just like one little hair sticking up that I can't pull out. It's stuck in there pretty good. But overall, this is a great brush for putting like a color all over your lid. But if you want to do more precise work, this is a rather large of a brush to use, because it is, you know, a large fluffy brush. So, and especially if you have small eyes, like, I wouldn't, maybe it'd be like a good blending brush, you know, to use in the crease or whatever. But with these types of brushes, I just use it for an overall eye color. So the next brush I'm using from the set is the Doe Foot Sculptor. And with this, I'm going to be taking the Coastal Scents Hot Pot and Oatmeal Tan. And I'm just going to put that in my crease as my transition color. This is a really great brush to use in your crease to put your transition color down, because it has that angle to it. So it puts it in the crease and a little bit above and a little bit below, which will save you time if you're just using it as your transition shade brush. So next I'm going to be taking my e.l.f. Smudge Pot, and this is in the shade Hit the Town. It's just a really cool bluish gray color, and it has some shimmer in it, and I'm going to be using that as a base all over. And with this I'm just going to be using an EcoTools brush I got in a kit, because there's not exactly a brush in this kit that I would want to use as a base color for a cream eyeshadow. So the next brush I'll be using is actually what they call the concealer brush for this set, and I'm using it with the shade Miami Spice from Coastal Scents Hot Pot. So this is a great brush for packing on the color on your lid. I mean, it would be a great concealer brush too, but I don't use brushes when I put on concealer. I just use the warmth of my finger. But this would do, you know, a great job at both. The only thing though is that for packing on the color, it is a little bit large, but like I said, it's meant to be used with the concealer and not for the eyes. But I think it's a great brush because it's that flat shape. It has that flat shape to it, which I use, you know, whichever brand I use to pack on the color on my lid with. So the next brush I'm going to be using from this kit is the Dome Shadow Brush, and with this I'm going to be applying another Coastal Scents Hot Pot. This was in the shade Maroon Berry, and I'm going to be putting that in my crease. And I'm taking this color all the way into the inner part of my eye. Now I'm taking the blender brush from this kit, and I'm just going to do what it's meant to do and blend out all these colors. And then I keep going back in with that Dome eyeshadow brush and picking up that Maroon Berry, and just keep building up the color until I'm satisfied with it. So just keep building up the color and blending it out, and yep. These are two of my most favorite brushes in this kit for the eyes. The Dome Shadow Brush is an excellent brush for putting right in that crease where you want your color. And this is an excellent, you know, fluffy blending brush. So the next brush I'm taking is a small shader brush, and I'm going back into that Maroon Berry color, and I'm just running that underneath my eyes. And I'm also kind of connecting it to my eyeshadow on top. I really like this brush because it's small enough to fit underneath here, and it's also densely packed to where it doesn't fling the color everywhere, but it puts it where you want it to go. And so I'm going back in that doe foot sculptor brush and picking up some more of that Oatmeal tan and just really quickly running that underneath my eyes. Now I'm going to go in with my concealer, and this is the LA Girl Pro Conceal in the shade Classic Ivory. I don't put this all over my face, I just put it underneath my eyes because it is pretty orange. But putting it under my eyes makes it brighter, but if I were to put it anywhere else on my face, it would just look like orange dots all over my face. And I absolutely hate the packaging to these, like this little squeezy thing. Ugh, I hate it. But the product is really good, so what can you do? For the sake of this tutorial, I'm actually just going to use the foundation brush that comes in this kit. I really wouldn't have any use for this other than, you know, concealing for the sake of this tutorial, but like I said earlier, I don't use brushes when it comes to concealers. I like to use the warmth of my fingers to do it, but just for the sake of this video, I'm just going to use the foundation brush that came in this kit. The only other use I have for foundation brushes is to use them when putting on a mask, but I usually use like the cheapest foundation brushes. I wouldn't use like a great high quality brush. I mean, nonetheless, this is a, you know, a high quality brush, but I just hate it for putting concealer on. But for the sake of this, I will do it. I'm still just gonna use my finger to do the rest because I hate using a brush for concealer. And to set that concealer, I'm just taking my e.l.f. HD powder. I have the under eye powder, which I prefer to this, but I'm trying to use this up before I open up that powder. And with this, I'm just taking the small tapered brush. This is my favorite brush to apply under eye powders with. It's a perfect shape. So the next brush I'm going to be using is the small shader brush from this kit. And I'm also using e.l.f.'s blush in Gotta Glow. And this is a fantastic brush for an inner corner highlight. It's like the perfect size for it. I'm going back in that dome shadow brush, and I'm just running whatever color was left on it underneath my eyes because I feel some of it got faded away when I put the concealer on. So I'm going to do my brows and mascara off camera, and for brows I'm using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz in the shade Taupe, and I'm going to set my brows with this clear mascara. It's from the Black Radiance line. So to finish up the rest of my face, I'm taking this tapered powder brush and using the e.l.f. Pressed Mineral Foundation. This is in the shade Fair. I like using this lightly all over as my setting powder because it gives a little bit more color to the face too than just a traditional translucent color. Oh, and I love this brush. This brush has to be the softest of the bunch. They're all soft, but this one has like got to be the softest. And if you wanted to use this brush other than an all over powder, you could use it as a blush brush, or you know, maybe your contouring color or a bronzing color. But for me, I like it to put my powder on with. So next I'm taking the angled blush brush, and I'm going to be using the e.l.f. Pressed Mineral Bronzer in the shade Tan Toffee to give my face some definition. Another thing I love about this brush set is that the handles are super long. Like, compared to what I used earlier, the e.l.f. small tapered brush, like the actual handle is much, much longer. You see that? And I actually like that. I mean, some brushes, like for eye brushes, I don't, you know, particularly care if they're like super long because I usually hold my brush up closer to the ferrule. But with face brushes, like when it comes to doing like contouring, I like a little bit of a longer handle, which is what this brush set offers you. So next I'm taking the Kabuki Sculptor brush, and I'm going to be using these with the e.l.f. Mineral Pearls in the shade Natural. I know this was limited edition, but I know Physicians Formula sells similar type of products if you're interested. But they're basically like this. They're little balls of pearls. They don't give much color payoff. You mean just like a slight color to it. But I really like putting it on top of my contouring shade because it adds like a nice glow to the skin without being like shimmery. It just has like a nice healthy look to the skin. And this brush is awesome. Like, it is super big compared to this one, which I just used, to the angled blush. It's, you know, it's the same kind of cut. It's like that angled downwards. But this one is like super, super full. You see that? So this is a really great color. So this is a really great brush. And also when I do this step right here, it also blends out that contouring shade a bit more, just in case I went, you know, heavy-handed with it. It'll help blend it out and soften it. So the last brush I'm using from this set is the blush brush. And for my blush, I'm just using the e.l.f. Pressed Mineral Blush. And this is in the shade Sweet Retreat. Just putting that on the apple of my cheek. You know, with such a heavy eye look, I don't want my blush to be competing with it and I find this to be a really soft color for when you still want something on your cheeks but you don't want it to compete with your eye look. And then to just blend everything together, I'm taking that tapered brush again and just sweeping it over my cheeks to make sure there's no harsh lines anywhere. Next, I'm taking my e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in the shade Blush Gems. e.l.f. did send me a brand new one, you know, which was, you know, completely awesome. I don't know if you saw my e.l.f. haul, but where I was unboxing this stuff, but I talked about how, you know, I contacted e.l.f. and told them my highlighter was broken, and like immediately they said, oh, we'll just send you a new one. You know, I mean, they have the best customer service ever that I've ever come in contact with. But anyway, I'm putting that on the top of my cheekbones, down the bridge of my nose, on the tip of my nose, and above my cupid's bow. And for this, I was using the Flawless Concealer Brush from e.l.f. So that's it, guys. That's my review and demo of the Coastal Scents 16-piece Pearl Brush Set. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. And until next time, bye.